Hello everyone, welcome to Aqiang's shopping adventure. In today's story, the rich girl is completely engrossed in watching cartoons while Aqiang suddenly remembers he's out to buy groceries. Aqiang's parents are waiting for him, and he discovers that the rich girl has a natural talent for English, as she can binge watch cartoons without a hitch. Bored waiting for Aqiang, he takes a stroll outside and magically sketches the entire area in no time. By the time Aqiang gets home, the girl has had her fun, and he makes a few pancakes, which she inspects with her chopsticks like if the girl insists on a redo. Aqiang thinks he must please this little cash cow, so he makes a feast again. She curiously asks why they are so poor yet can afford to send her to all those language classes. Aqiang's thinking, what classes? Aqiang wants to ask but can't keep up with the girl, who just rattled off a few languages. Anyone who knows the answer, please leave a comment. Looking at the girl, he thinks to himself he better wrap this up quickly, or else her cleverness might just blow his cover. At night, Aqiang tries to call the girl's mum again, but it's still an unanswered call. Feeling helpless, he looks up kidnapping tips online to see what to do if he can't collect the ransom. One highly rated answer online suggests sending something belonging to the hostage or an audio recording to crank up the psychological pressure. Aqiang ponders over the risks and realizes they are indeed quite significant, not to be taken lightly. The next day, he comes up with a clever excuse to ask the girl to help him record an audio clip. He can hardly contain his impatience and eagerly awaits the outcome. He desperately needs money for his daughter's surgery. As night falls and the rich girl sleeps, Aqiang drives to gather intel. Arriving, he sees an ambulance pass. Aqiang heads up the slope thinking, this can't be good. He wanders through the alley to the girl's house, where a crowd has gathered, and the police lights blinking red and blue like they are filming a thriller. Meanwhile, a guy in black tiptoes up the steps, sneaking toward Aqiang's house like a ninja. He picks up a brick and without hesitation, smashes the window of the front door. Girl wakes up with a start, sitting up in bed as she hears a familiar squeaky sound coming from outside. The sound grows louder until it disappears at the door. Aqiang squeezes into the crowd, just in time to see two bodies covered with white sheets being carried out. Suddenly, he realizes he's mixed up in a murder case. Cold sweat forming as he turns to hear a news anchor reporting live. Victims are the hospital director and his wife, which is like something straight out of a soap opera. What a twist. Days later, police discover the murder happened 3 hours ago and hastily rush to the scene. The cop hops out, stretches, and walks in to find the villa's security cam is taken down. It's even more dramatic than a TV show. The victim, Director QE, is lying there with 50 stab wounds. It's a gruesome sight. His wife, on the other hand, didn't have it any better. She met a similar fate in the bedroom. The killer cranked up the heat, maybe hoping the bodies would revive in all that warmth. Coroner finds zero evidence left behind, indefinitely a pro at work. Meanwhile, Aqiang's driving and dialing up his ex-wife, eager for clues on what to do next. But the call won't go through, so he turns to Google for tips on what to do if a kidnapper gets entangled in a murder. The comments are all over the place, but one reader recommends he quickly dispose of the abduction vehicle. Aqiang reads this like a treasure map and immediately hatches a plan for the vehicle. He parks in a secluded spot and, like in the movies, tries to ignite some flammable material in the gas tank, but waits and waits for a bang that never comes. Meanwhile, Officer Shang finds the housekeeper at Director Quiz's place, asking her about the first person to discover the bodies. She catches sight of a family photo and casually inquires where the little girl has gone. The housekeeper slaps her thigh. The little girl, Lucy, is missing. The mysterious guy puts his ear to the door, but silence reigns inside as he slowly reaches for the doorknob. Suddenly, Lucy appears from behind the door and bolts outside. Using her knowledge of the area, she dashes into the alley with the mysterious man hot on her heels. By the time Aqiang finishes with the car and walks in, he sees the hostage is gone, shouting Lucy's name like a lost puppy. Lucy. 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 Wake up. Just then, Big Fat discovers a basement. He heads inside and finds out that Director QE moved his operating room back home. He also hears that Director Q had the security company remove the cameras a few days ago for an upgrade. How convenient. Meanwhile, Aqiang circles the rundown area, searching for Lucy, but stumbles upon yesterday's trash picker, Jihyun. Gasping for breath, he asks, "Have you seen a little girl, around 10 years old?" Jihyun shakes his head, claiming he hasn't seen anyone. Aqiang nods in thanks, but suddenly feels something's off. He turns to see the guy's cart and wonders why there's only a blanket in it. He quickly steps up to the cart, reaches out, and suddenly, his arm is grasped tightly by the other guy. Jihyun pulls out a steel pipe to smash Aqiang's head, but ends up being subdued effortlessly by Aqiang's superhuman fighting skills. Seeing he's outmatched, Jihyun kicks the cart, but Aqiang just sends him flying with a flick. At this moment, the cart begins to slide down the slope rapidly, hurtling towards the trash pile at the bottom at supersonic speed, and Aqiang's demonstrated fighting prowess is truly astounding indeed.